Hello everybody. Well, this is part two in the series Looking Back to Move Forward. So if you remember in part one, we sort of looked at the past and the impact of the past, and we asked three really important questions for that. So this is all about the present. So this is sort of having a review of now, who we are now, where we are now, and what that means for us right now. So I'm going to ask you three questions again. So these are going to run on from the other questions, or they can be standalone. It's entirely up to you. So if you've missed the first one and just jump straight into this one, it'll make sense. If you've done the first one, you might be raring to go with the second one, so that'll make sense as well. So the first question in this part is, what are the most useful resources that you have now that you think will be important in the future? And this is something that's really important, because when do we ever look at who we are and what we can do and what we've got and think about how that then can play into our future? You know, for example, you might be really resourceful and can make something out of nothing. You might be really tenacious and really hardworking and can actually see a project through to the end. You might have great creativity. You might have the patience of a saint. You know, so just look through what resources you have and how that they can be applied to your future and how useful that may be. So I also want you to consider, for the second question, is what new habits have you cultivated this year? So, you know, so in the past sort of 12 months, that have made you increase your well-being. So we're really going to look and think about what they might be, very small things. Those of you who have worked with me before know that I'm a great advocate of tiny little baby steps to make huge changes. That anything too big we're not going to sustain, but what small habits, what small changes to our behaviour have you been able to make this year that have actually increased your well-being? Are you kinder to yourself? Do you drink more water? Do you try and eat the majority of your meals made from scratch? Are you going outside and walking? Are you enjoying the sunshine to get the vitamin D? Are you putting aside some time to do some reflection? How are your connections with people? Are you taking advantage of actually being able to make people and have that connection, because that's really important? Or is it that you've sort of moving away from toxic environments? You've moved away from environments that make you feel bad or drain all your energy. Let's just notice what new habits you have right now that have increased your well-being, because then we can see how they can be utilised in the future to increase your well-being further. So I hope that makes sense. So the last question, and this part of looking back in order to move forward, what are you thankful for right now? And I want you to think about yourself. I want you to think about what you are thankful about you, how you appreciate yourself. Do you ever thank your body for getting you through the day? Do you look at little ways in which you make other people's lives better? Do you look at yourself and think, my God, I've got to this point and haven't I done really well? You know, so what are you thankful about you right now? How can you show gratitude to you? Now, I know there's probably quite a lot of you who would think, you know, you might have read self-help books, or you might have been to group sessions, or even had one-to-one sessions with people where they encourage you to look outside of you and have gratitude for everything outside of you. And that's important. But what's really important is that we increase our self-value by looking at what we've done, how we've performed, what we've done that's made our lives better. So that's why it's important to consider that. So just to recap, for sort of the present, and looking right now, how we can sort of make an evaluation of what's going on right now. So question one, what's the most useful resources that you've got that you think will be important for the future? What new habits have you cultivated this year that are going to and have done increase your well-being? And what are you most thankful for right now? You know, and start with you before we go anywhere else. So that was part two of looking back in order to move forward. So I'll see you in part three.